Hey folks, welcome back to another video with yours truly, Sam Healey. Today I'm talking about this game right here. Now this is not the review that I've been promising some of you guys. This instead is a top 10 races from Twilight Imperium 3. These are my top 10 races that I think are the coolest. Now they're ranked in what I think the coolness factor of them are. So again, very subjective list. Take that with a grain of salt, but here we go. Number 10 is the Universities of Jolnar. Now, the reason I put these guys as number 10 is because, quite frankly, being able to purchase two technologies for basically the price of one, not really, but that's what it feels like, because usually these people, whoever's playing these people, have the most technologies on the board. They're kind of flashy to be able to have all those technologies out, but I found that most of the time you're trying to use those technologies to counteract the deficiencies that the race has. My number 9 is the Letnev. Now these guys are pretty cool. They start with a dreadnought. I love dreadnoughts. That's a little bit of a spoiler as to what might be coming later on the list. However, the Letnev, one of the reasons I really like them is that you can boost your forces before combat. You have to spend command counters in order to do that, 2 of them. So that does get a little, no, I'm sorry, command counters, or is it trade goods? No, it's trade goods. So that's actually a pretty cool thing. You're using your resources to boost the productivity of your ships in combat and your forces in ground invasion. That's really cool. I like that. You get +1 to your space people and then +2 to your ground forces if you do that. The other thing that I like about them is that you can have 1 more ship in your fleets than you have in your fleet supply. So that's really cool. You kind of get to break the rules that way. So these are cool guys. I like how they have that combative nature to them, where you can use your resources to kind of boost your abilities. My number 8 is the Clan of Sar. I really enjoy these guys. I think they're a pretty neat race. They're kind of a nomadic race within this game of space exploration and combat and all that kind of stuff. Their space stocks have a movement of 1, which means you can move them around from place to place. They're never attached to any planet, and they always have a capacity of 4, which is really neat. I like that. I do like the fact that you get trade goods. Whenever you take over a new planet, you do start with a number of good forces over here on the side. So your forces are already 4 ground troops, 2 carriers, 2 fighters, 2 destroyers, I think. No, 1 cruiser. So there's a lot of good stuff on these guys. I like the fact that you can also continue to claim objectives even if you've lost your home system. So it gives you the ability to continue gaining points while you're trying to re-establish your home planet. So really cool. I like these guys a lot. Now my number 7 is the Sardak Nor. And these guys, quite frankly, the reason I like these guys is because everybody gets +1 during combat rolls. All of your space forces, all of your ground forces get that +1. They start with 5 ground forces, 1 carrier, 1 cruiser, 1 PDS, 1 space dock. They're kind of weak on their starting technologies. I mean, they only have 2, but the fact that you can have +1 on all your combat rolls, that's really enticing for me. I've played these guys probably one of the ones that I've played the most, just because of that +1 in combat. That's what I enjoy doing in this game. My number 6 are the Ghosts of Crews. Now these guys, the reason I like to play these is because of the ways that they use those different wormholes. They can use them defensively, where people cannot use the A or B wormholes to enter into a system that you control. You can use A and B wormholes as if they were adjacent to each other. Your system, your home system, is actually off the board. That's another cool thing that I like about them. There's just a lot of cool things here. 4 ground forces, 2 destroyers, only two technologies. That's why they're in the bottom half of this list. But I've had a lot of fun playing these guys. I've never won with them, but I enjoy playing them because of all of the neat things that you can do and how you can kind of skip around the board very easily. My number 5, the Mentak Coalition. Now, Mentak Coalition has a very special place in my heart because this was the race I was playing in my only solo win of Twilight Imperium 3 that I have ever been able to accomplish. So again, there was some kind of extenuating circumstances. I was the 5th player. I was kind of the one that wasn't involved in any battles, and while all these wars were raging, I was just kind of very quietly gaining my points in the game, and it got to where I was able to set up where I got my secret objective, which was worth 2 points, which puts me over the top. It was kind of a perfect storm situation, I'll definitely grant that, but I really do enjoy these guys because the Mentak Coalition has this ability where you can attack with up to 2 of your cruisers or destroyers before the battle actually begins, and those losses, if it causes any, are taken away before the battle begins. That makes people think twice about attacking you, in my opinion, especially if you make sure that you keep all of your if you keep a cruiser or 2 or a destroyer or 2 in all of your fleets. So that's something that I really do enjoy about these guys. The fact that they're starting the game with an additional command counter in our fleet supply area, so your fleets can be bigger than everybody else. You can also take trade goods from people during the status phase to keep that money cash flow going. So I really enjoy playing these guys. I'll probably play them more in the future. My number 4 is the Lazaks. Now the Lazaks are they're really, really cool to play with because at the very beginning of the game, you feel like you are large and in charge. Check this out. You start the game with 6 ground forces, 3 destroyers, 3 cruisers, 1 dreadnought, 2 BDS, and a space dock. In addition to that, you can place any of your starting forces on adjacent systems to your home system. So you start spread out more than everybody else, which is a huge bonus at the beginning of the game. Now, in order to pay for some of that coolness at the beginning of the game, you get -5 votes during the political phase, but who cares? Man, you start off strong in this game. That's one of the reasons I really enjoy the Lazaks, is because they are strong at the beginning, gives you a little bit of a leg up on your competition. My number 3 is the Necrovirus. Now, the Necrovirus is one of those races that I really hate playing against because they steal technology from people of whom they have destroyed some of their forces in battle. But on top of that, you are starting with 3 technologies. You have 2 ground forces, a mechanized unit, a carrier, two cruisers, and a space dock. Now, another thing here is you can't vote on political or agenda cards. Again, don't care about that kind of stuff. I don't like playing against them, but I have enjoyed playing with them, especially if they're kind of my ally and they kind of leave me alone and go attack everybody else. But these guys are cool simply because you get a lot of technologies and you don't have the deficiencies that the universities of Jolnar have, except for not being able to vote. Who cares? My number 2 is the Embers of Muat. Now, the Embers of Muat, basically, I like to say start the game with a target on the back. Because you start with a War Sun and you start with the War Sun technology. Not only does your War Sun, not only do you start with the War Sun, but your War Suns can move 1, and then as soon as you upgrade to the Deep Space Cannon technology, they can move 2. These guys are totally powerful at the beginning of the game, and as such, everybody kind of is gunning for you to kind of keep you in check. Again, you don't start with a lot, but as soon as you start pumping out those War Suns, you can start pumping out those fighters and destroyers very quickly using those command counters. So Embers of Muat, I've enjoyed playing them. They're kind of difficult to win with, I think. At least that's been my experience, because everybody is kind of gunning for you. So it is a challenge though, and that's why I enjoy playing them. Now, my number 1 race of the game of Twilight Imperium is these guys right here, the L1Z1X Mind Net. And the reason I like these guys is because they focus on dreadnoughts. Dreadnoughts are my favorite kind of unit in the game. I really enjoy using them. Not only do they start with, first of all, their dreadnoughts are cheaper. You only have to pay 4 resources for 1 dreadnought instead of 5. They also start the game at +1 in combat, so they're not rolling just 5s, they're rolling 4s on a 10-sided die. And on top of that, they can carry ground forces from the very beginning of the game, because you also start the game with the stasis capsules technology. This is by far my favorite race to play in the game. And again, I haven't ever won with them, but I really enjoy playing them because I feel like I have a chance to win all the time, because my forces are usually well stocked with dreadnoughts, and I really enjoy using them. So by far my favorite race of Twilight Imperium 3 is the L1Z1X Minenet, and I call them the Lizix Minenet, but those are actually ones, they're not eyes. So that is my top 10 races from Twilight Imperium 3. You, of course, will probably disagree with me, and that is absolutely okay. Not at all a problem. Let me know in the comments what you think, whether you agree, disagree, whatever. We'll see you on the flip side, folks.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.